Hi, I'm Rob from HopZine.com. Thanks for joining me for another video beer review. This time we're looking at something pretty damn special. It's a bottle of Hair of the Dog's Doggie Claws, and the interesting thing is, if the camera will zoom in and focus, it's a 2009 edition of this beer. It is now late 2013, just coming up to Christmas, so I thought it was a perfect time to review this. It's a barley wine, and they call it a West Coast style barley wine, so it can be drunk fresh. I'm fully aware of that. I've had this for the best part of 3 years. I did buy it online from a shop which is now closed down, which was in Amsterdam. But I've held on to this for a number of years because the guys over at Hair of the Dog always kind of say their beers should be aged for at least like 3 to 4 years before they're drunk. They're kind of like when it's at its like premium point. But this beer, interestingly enough, because it's so quite heavily hopped, can be drunk fresh. I've recently watched Simon over at Real Ale Craft Beer drinking the 2013 batch, I think. No, it might have been 2012 batch, I think, which Kevin over at Clement's Homebrew kindly sent over to him. Kevin sent me some other beers from Hair of the Dog, which I haven't been able to drink yet because, as I said, they need a couple of years on them before they're at their best. So this is dedicated to Kevin and everybody over at Clement's Homebrew. Check them out if you haven't already. Fantastic guy, just lovely people, and just really passionate and excited about beer. So big up to Kevin over at Clement's Homebrew. So let's get this open into a glass and see what we've got. 11.5% ABV. Nice, good amount of carbonation, I presume, from that hiss. Bottle condition, so I will pour with care. As you can see, pouring pretty much flat as pancake, as you'd expect. Yeah, flat as pancake, as most of these have been. So, well, no, actually this one is 11%, I just spotted it, 11%, I think the most recent batch must be 11.5. Beer in the glass, a real kind of, yeah, pretty much ruby, like a slightly more orangey ruby coloured beer. Yeah, flat as pancake. So let's check out the aroma. Oh, wow. It smells like a big old, literally old, a big old IPA. Oh wow, so complex. You're getting loads of raisins, you're getting loads of kind of marzipan, you're getting an oaky quality in there, maybe a slight hint of oxidization. Yeah, big raisins, slightly stewed prunes, slightly leathery. Yeah, kind of wet wood bark. Kind of slightly foisty cherry. Yeah, it's quite boozy. Yeah, it's a weird combination of kind of cherry and leather and big, kind of quite resinous notes to a certain degree, which have been pulled out a bit, not as sharp. Be really interested to see what this fresh tastes like. But I mean, from watching Simon over at Real Ale Craft Beer, he were like whew, big old punching hops. This one, over 3 years old, so it's gonna be a whole different story. So I can't wait to dive in. Big thanks sending the over the other beers, Kevin. This is dedicated to you, mate. Cheers. Let's dive in. For me, it's perfect American barley wine. Very still, as you said. It's got a kind of slightly oily quality that makes you think of. It might be more of a spirit. It's not as boozy, but you do get that kind of like oily quality that you get from a spirit. Yeah, because it's still got a big kind of resinous notes in there, but there's no sharpness to it. There's no kind of life to it. It's leathery, oaky. But with a really intense cherry and orange. Bit of definitely a bit of alcohol in there. Slightly kind of rubbing spirits, kind of surgical spirit. Hint of kind of literally the flavour of decay. It's just a bit kind of musty and old and like really worn leather. But you can see at the back end of it, there's an IPA. There's a big hopped up beer, which is the back end, sticky on the lips. Definitely resinous. Definitely there's a good amount of sweetness that balances out this big earthy quality to it. Surprisingly drinkable. Fascinating stuff. Once again, Hair of the Dog do some remarkable beers. Get a little bit of warmth, a bit of kind of ginger at the back end, crystallised ginger. Yeah, fascinating. I think it's a really interesting thing that Alan does over at the head brewer, Alan Spritz, Hair of the Dog. I think it's a really interesting thought process that, and a very interesting concept that has for their brewery, which is primarily about, we're going to brew beers that you're not going to drink, you're going to buy, you're not going to drink for years. I think it's a really brave thing to do. It really builds them up as something special, something very unique. And I mean, I've had these in my possession for a couple of years, waiting for the right moment, waiting for the right time. Now is the right time. It's tasting remarkable, unlike anything I've ever had. It's literally encouraging people to drink beers when they've reached a point beyond what you should expect normally to drink at. And it's to its credit that you do that, and it's very brave. It's such a brave idea, and it works because if you get a hopped up American West Coast style barley wine, take for example Green Flash. They do a lovely barley wine. It's like a big old, when you get it relatively fresh, it's like a big old Imperial IPA. I'm sure this is when it's fresh, but because it's telling you, keep it for a while, see what happens, see the complexities that this beer grows into, and this is the kind of beer that you get. Remarkable. Yeah, just so unusual, interesting, enjoyable. This would work beautifully. I wish I had some really big, kind of quite juicy, mature cheddar. That would be absolutely storming this beer. I might ransack the fridge upstairs, see if there's something which I could potentially match with this, because I think it'll really do it a good service. So that is a bottle of Hair of the Dog from Portland, Oregon, just down the road from my good friend Kevin over at Clement's Homebrew. Please check those guys out on YouTube. It's a bottle of Hair of the Dog's Doggie Claws. It's a 2009 vintage of their barley wine style ale. Just unique, such an interesting drinking experience. It's not something you have every day. I mean, it's Christmas, so let's have something special. I'm Rob from HopZine.com. See you next time. Cheers.